Not a time to be shy, folks. Author ranking is here. Welcome to another episode of the Ken Merkel Podcast. There's nothing more that Google hates than web spammers, and now they're really doing something about it. If Google doesn't know who you are, your site just might get bulldozed in the rankings. See, the problem with the internet today, and the thing that just made the internet so great, was that anybody can publish anything, and if it is decent enough, it will rank fairly well. But in the old days, used to be you still have the New York Times bestseller list, but it's not really as relevant anymore, is it? And Google's going back to that sort of old world way in which authors with a lot of credibility would basically get the most notoriety. And really, this whole author ranking is very, very smart when you think about it, because if you can trust somebody once, twice, 3 times, chances are they're going to continue to be trustworthy, and if their content was good in the past, chances are the content's going to be good in the future. Now, Google came up with a way to tie content that an author created to their web page, and the web page could be tied to their Google profile, which now the Google profile has morphed into the Google Plus social media network. So the Google authorship markup came about way back in 2011. But what's changed recently is that Google Plus has kind of started to take off. And the other thing that's going on is that within the Google Plus profile, when you set up an account and you have a profile, it asks you to connect other accounts. So you can tie in your Facebook page, your Twitter page, Flickr, and all kinds of other social media profiles. And what this allows Google to do is take the authority from those sites, those social media sites, tie it in with your Google Plus accounts and your Google Plus authority, and then all that juice and credibility and work that you've put into building those profiles will get passed on to virtually any publication that you want. All you have to do is link to it in the Contributor To section of your Google Plus profile. Now, once you have a Google Plus profile set up, you need to establish the relationship between your Google Plus profile and your content, which is probably, let's say it's on your blog, so we'll just use the blog as an example. So I've got a clip here from Matt Cutts and the Google Webmaster YouTube channel, and he'll talk a little bit about setting up the authorship markup.
Talking about rel equals author, which launched recently. And so just to start out, Othar, what is rel equals author exactly?
So rel equals author is actually in the HTML5 spec, that any link can have a rel equals author attribute on it. Mm-hmm. And the use is that you're saying that the other end of this link represents the author of the page that the link is coming from.
Okay.
So people should be doing this. In fact, they have been doing this, and Google's just using the standard to get authorship information more broadly.
It's always nice if you can reuse an existing HTML5 standard instead of inventing new markup and stuff like that.
Shows good design in the HTML5.
Absolutely. So now, webmasters, site owners, they're busy folks. So, I'm sure the first question they're going to ask is, what's in it for me? Like, what do they get if they implement rel equals author? Like, will people get a higher rankings? Is there a rankings boost for rel equal author? Or
Right. So it's obviously early days, right? So we hope to use this information and any information as a ranking signal at Google. So in this case, we want to get information on credibility of authors, from all kinds of sources, and eventually use that in ranking. We're only experimenting with that now. Who knows where it'll go?
Yes, who knows where it'll go? To the moon. That's where it's going. Unless you've been under a Windows computer lately, you would have seen, if you searched on Google for anything, that you'll notice author profile pictures. When you see those pictures, that means the author basically connected all the pieces with their Google Plus profile to the content that Google serves up in the search page. And it's so much more powerful to have a picture next to a search item than just basic text. It just calls it out so much more. And the same going with video too. If there's like a video thumbnail next to a piece of content, then obviously people are just more likely to click on it. And I've seen that with my own blog because I have all this worked up. I have everything connected, and my click-through rates have been a lot better. My blog has gotten a lot more traffic since I established the Google Plus profile connecting to my blog, so I bear witness to this author ranking. I have another clip here from Google where Othar Hansen discusses the Google Plus profile setup and the actual sort of technical implementation of getting this thing working.
We're using Google Profiles basically as a tool for authors to tell us what photo to use on their results, right? And to give them one place to go to give their readers more information about themselves.
Okay.
So the simplest case is on every post. So let's take a single author blog to start with. Add a link somewhere on the page pointing to your Google profile, and on that link add an attribute, rel equals author. Right, so this is an A tag with an href pointing to the Google profile, and just add rel equals author on that link. So figure out a way to add this to every page on your site if you're a single author blog, right? Put it in the footer, put it in the header, put it in the right-hand side, wherever you can make it work. That's the simplest case. You can wrap this around an image. We have a nice little image to use to represent the Google profile, or put your own photo or whatever you want there.
And so on my blog, I had just my name, so I turned that into a hyperlink, and then I added rel equals author on that hyperlink. So that was a pretty easy way to do it. Okay.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be asking, how do I do this and stay anonymous? And the answer is you can't. A lot of people, I'm pretty amazed to see so many people that still, they're not on Facebook or they don't do social media. They don't do anything. And there's so many people just like far behind on this whole authorship trend that's going on right now. And it's only going to, speed up in the coming months. So what can you do now? I've started, but I'm by no means am I, on the path, per se for all of this stuff. So, but things I'm going to start doing for sure, more YouTube videos, because video is just so powerful for content. Google will give you a thumbnail, if you have a video embedded on your website or blog, and people just go crazy for video. Podcasts, that's another thing. Just building up your social media profile, that means more Facebook posts, more Twitter posts, relevant things that people, take action on. But with a lot of these things, you got to take into account that, they've got to be public. So you've got to set, like on your Google Plus profile, when you post something, it's got to be public. When you post on Facebook, it's got to be public, so that so that the search engines can crawl it, Google can see it, and give you all the credit for it. So those are things you definitely want to get moving on for sure. I'll list all the resources for this authorship stuff on the blog post where this podcast resides. And so if you have any questions, you can send me an email to blog@kenmariko.com, or what would be great if you have questions, send them in an audio format. Send me an email with an MP3 file of your question, and I'll add it to maybe the next podcast. So it'd be great if you guys have any feedback or questions. Just send me an email, attach an audio file, and we can add it to the podcast. Thank you so much for listening.